I audit sustainable energy companies, which basically means I'm very passionate about nature and I kind of know how to work Excel. But people are usually pretty shocked when I tell them I work in accounting because I kind of give off the vibe that 24/7 I'm high. I just moved to New York just over a year ago now. And, when I got the job offer out here, I did what any Gen Z prodigy would do, and I TikTok searched pros and cons of moving to New York. I don't really remember many of the pros, but I remember one of the cons was everything's super new and exciting at first. You might feel like a tourist, be careful not to spend all your money at once. And I was like, that'll never happen to me. I'm an accountant. And then I got here and I was like, I'm an accountant with an emotional spending issue. My roommate and I moved in, took a little stroll around the neighborhood, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. We live right around the corner from this cute little grocery store. So I go in to get us some of the basics, rice, avocado, some tofu, because I'm not a monster. And when the cashier rung me up, I was like, $30? I have never deleted an Instagram story about supporting locals so fast. Budgeting in New York is so hard because not only is everything expensive, but there's so many fun things to spend your money on, and it's all way too easy to pay for. Living in Manhattan is like living in Amazon Prime. I don't even know if something is $4 or $400 until I add it to my cart, click a button on my phone, and all of a sudden I own it. So needless to say, my first few weeks here were only the beginning of my personal reenactment of the 2008 financial crisis. Except instead of the housing market crashing, I crashed after 10 weeks in a row of raving with my friends in Brooklyn. No regrets. But there finally came the day where I took a quick look at my bank account and then a long, hard look in the mirror. And I was like, something has got to change. So I sat myself down and I started making a list titled Free Activities in New York City. AKA shortest list of all time. And some of my favorite things that made the list were check things off to-do list twice. Ride the Staten Island Ferry and church. Go to church. So the next weekend, I found myself in Staten Island at Mass, and I tried praying. They say God has a plan for everyone. So I tried to pray, and I was like, God, if you're up there, what is your financial plan for me? My roommate and I don't have a TV for whatever reason. So I got pretty used to. I got pretty into self-improvement podcasts this past year because I realized I'm kind of uncomfortable with silence, and I'm 25, still single, work in accounting, so I'm kind of looking for any advice that will just set me in a different direction. One podcast I came across and particularly love is the Mel Robbins podcast, which is basically just mom advice that's not annoying because it's not coming from your actual mom. Sorry, Mrs. Casper. But yeah, there was this one episode that I remember, it was about technology addiction that really stuck out to me. And the guest, he was a PhD and ex-video game addict, and he was explaining how when you add it up over time, we'll be scrolling on our phones for like 20 years. And I immediately panicked because I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do for the other 60? I bought a physical alarm clock after. I turned my phone into grayscale mode, and I started smoking cigarettes to help with the dopamine withdrawals. And I've gotten pretty used to my phone being in black and white now until someone sees it for the first time and is like, is your phone in black and white? Like I'm the next Charlie Chaplin or Jeffrey Dahmer. An old school creative or just a serial killer from Ohio. But now when I look at someone's phone with the color on, like full brightness up, I feel like I'm standing in the middle of Times Square, except there's no naked cowboy. It's even crazier to me though when I see kids, with using these devices with no controls on. I was watching my cousin's 6-year-old play on his iPad, trying to beat level 6,000 on Candy Crush before Thanksgiving dinner. And when his dad took it away, I've only ever seen a child act like that. Last time I was babysitting and we ran out of heroin. It's not just kids though, it is us too. It's very hard for us to just sit and be bored anymore. I did try it recently though. I just tried to sit, slow my thoughts and be bored, and ironically, I ended up beating level 6,000 on Candy. Suck it, little cousin. I recently came across this New York Times article about how Malort, which is this dark liquor that's native to Chicago, is starting to become more popular across the country. Has anyone here ever tried Malort before?
Unfortunately.
Wow. What do you guys think? Anyone?
That's bad.
Terrible.
Yeah. Have you ever tried crude oil? If you haven't, it tastes the same. Even the word Malort sends shivers down my spine and makes me a little nauseous. Kind of like how the word career makes me feel. But yeah, as a native Midwesterner, there was one line in particular. Let's go. In particular, that really stuck out to me in the article, and it read, "A difficult drink for a difficult place to live." And I was like, all right, it reminded me, if America was a sandwich, people from the coast would have no idea what kind it is. I don't know what. Yeah, so anyway, this is a hard place to live. Even when I was New York broke, I was still Wisconsin wealthy. Out there, largest bodies of fresh water in the world, friendliest people, and if you told anyone you don't have a dishwasher, they'd be really confused. Here, only thing you can get for free, church. One of the hardest parts of living in the Midwest for me was standing in line for the bar when it was -10 degrees out with no jacket on, because at the University of Wisconsin, apparently natural selection is what was hot. But yeah, so I think what the sentence in that article should have said was a easy drink to substitute for rat poisoning for a difficult place to live. My mom recently asked me if there's anything I want or need for Christmas. And between that and every time I go on social media now, someone else I know is getting engaged, I've been thinking a lot about buying china. My mom has a box of it in storage that I have to deal with, every time she moves, because I'm nice. And, oh my gosh. I gotta deal with it, every time she moves. And, this box though, it has not been opened since the Supreme Court ruled in favor of same-sex marriage, and my parents decided to rule against continuing their own. Sorry, COVID. Well, my mom claims she's keeping it for me, just in case, you never know. I am 25 years old, have never been in a relationship, and this shit is a setting for 12. The last time I needed 12 of something was tequila shots, just to work up the courage to flirt with the Tuesday night trivia host at Mad Dog and Beans. My roommate and I can't even sit at our kitchen table right now without knocking knees or smelling each other's breath. But I swear, this dusty old box of porcelain annoys me so much. I'd rather just sell the china, save the money, and go to China. Because Staten Island God told me that that's part of his financial plan for me. For yourself.